Hey guys, Karen Langston here from Parents & Co. Hope you're doing okay on a lovely sunny Tuesday morning. For any of you that are new to my Facebook group, just to give you a little bit of background, I'm Karen Langston and I am a sleep coach, sleep consultant for infants and toddlers. And I'm also a maternity nurse, so I look after newborns in particular. So, you know, there's not many things I don't know about kind of baby support, particularly, as I said, with the newborns. But today we're focusing on sleep with your little ones, and naps is something, you know, I'm constantly getting asked about at the moment by mums in particular, you know, who are finding themselves more housebound. You know, so naps are going to be a bit different and a bit strange, particularly for your little ones. A lot of them are really used to having quite a structure to their day. You know, you go outside, you know, you might be going off to classes, visiting friends and family. Just, you know, being outside a lot more kind of stimulates your little ones. Whereas, you know, at the moment, you know, we're told to just go out once a day. Well, as from Wednesday, maybe a few more times a day. You know, so your little ones are going to be a little bit more tricky at times to kind of get down for naps. And let's face it, you know, not being horrible, but, you know, kind of being housebound can be a bit boring for us all. So, you know, even for your little ones. So don't stress too much. You know, these things will pass. It's a phase. You're not doing a bad job. It's just the situation that we find ourselves in. But there are a few things that you can do just to try and help support your little ones with day naps. But always remember, they are all so different. So, you know, there are lots of guides out there. I mean, the first suggestion, and they're always kind of sleep suggestions that I make, my first suggestion is looking at their awake windows, or their gap naps, as I refer them to as well. So that's from the time that they wake up from their nap to the time that they need to kind of like go back down for their next sleep. And obviously, you know, that changes with their age and their stage. And again, they're a really good starting point. What I will do is I will post later on my Facebook page, you know, a guide of awake windows. So you've got something to start with. But being mindful of your little one, you know, their start of the daytime might change day to day. You know, it's there or thereabouts. So, you know, their time of their kind of like morning nap or their afternoon nap may slightly fluctuate with what kind of like what time they're starting their day. So, you know, you do have to be a little bit flexible with their awake times. And also, what you might also find is, I don't know, say that they have been awake, their awake window has been about an hour and a half in between kind of like, you know, that for their nap times. And actually you're finding it quite a struggle to get them back down to sleep an hour and a half later. You know, it might just be that you need to start stretching them a bit longer now. And although they might be giving you what you would call sleepy cues, so yawning, going quite quiet, this can be actually, you know, actually a sign of being a little bit bored, not just being tired. So, you know, if you're really struggling with kind of getting them down for a nap, you know, just maybe think, actually, maybe they just need to be stretched a little bit more, pushed to kind of maybe half an hour, so maybe making that awake window 2 hours rather than an hour and a half. If you're finding that quite tricky, what I suggest is, I mean, you know, if you've got a garden, great, kind of like, you know, if they're really kind of fussy, but you think actually they're not quite tired enough, you know, take them outside in the garden. I always think with little ones, or just walk them around the house. If you know, you live in a flat and you can't get outside easily, then that's absolutely fine. But I find with little ones, you know, facing them outwards so they can see what's going on is a really nice way to kind of get them busy and distracted. So walking them around, singing to them, putting a little bit of music on, having a little dance about if you're trying to stretch them for about half an hour is just a good way to kind of push them into that next kind of sleep phase by kind of stretching their awake time. So that's one thing. As I said before, because we're not going outside as much, and we're not going to kind of groups and things with our little ones, they genuinely may not be as stimulated as they normally are. So it's having a little bit. I find I work well to kind of having some form of routine in these in this uncertain time. So actually having a routine in place for your little ones actually will help as well by giving them some activity time, and then obviously kind of giving them some wind down time. So if you are, what I always say is when it comes to kind of any time of sleep times, obviously with bedtime, a nice bedtime routine is a really good way to signal and give baby the cue that sleep is coming. And also equally kind of with our little ones before they kind of have a nap, particularly if they're quite an alert baby. Some babies are very alert and a bit more needy, and it's harder for them sometimes to actually go off to sleep. So having some wind down time before they go off for a nap, I find is a really good way to signal to them that sleep is coming. And that can be 15 minutes before kind of like you want to put them down for a nap. So if they've been playing with their toys, it's putting the toys away. Maybe you put some quiet music on, something that's a bit relaxing. You draw the curtains. I mean, at the moment the weather's really bright and sunny, so again, for some little ones sleeping, the environment needs to be right for them as well. So, making their sleep space cosy and calm. Pulling the curtains if it's quite bright out there, because some of them really need that to kind of have it quite dark to go to sleep. And as I said, just kind of giving them that little wind down time, and that can be a really mini version of your bedtime routine. So it can just be 2 or 3 things that happens, you do, it's really consistent, and it happens each time they're going to kind of have a nap within indoors, and it kind of signals to baby that sleep is coming. So having those cues is a really good way to prepare baby to go off to sleep. And equally, when we are kind of like thinking about their sleep space, it may be that, there's a lot more people in the house at the moment. So maybe your husband is working from home, you've got siblings that are normally at school who are at home as well. So there's a lot more noise and, distractions for your little ones. So, going to sleep for a nap can be quite hard. I even find, because there are a lot more people at home, I hear a lot more kind of out on the street, people walking past, kids shouting and they're riding their bikes. So again, equally, if you live in maybe an apartment or a flat, you might be finding that it's a bit noisier than it normally is. So be mindful of that. You might find that white noise is a really good way to block out sounds, that actually by playing white noise at nap times really just helps your little one to kind of like block out those external noises that might be disrupting their sleep time. So try things like that. But, it's just about being really consistent with your little one as well. So, it's really easy when you're out and about and your days are filled with, as I say, going off to activities or seeing friends. You come back and maybe baby's sleeping on the go a lot more. And you come home, maybe you're doing one nap at home. So your routine is pretty solid. Now at the moment, we're all feeling a bit kind of strange. Some days are better than others. So, it's important that we try to be pretty consistent with our little ones. So having those really good sleep cues and being really consistent with them will help them when it comes to naps. And just persevere. Don't give up. That I tend to find around the 3-4 month age tends to be quite a tricky time for naps. They can still be very short. Maybe they're not knitting sleep cycles together. So again, it's just looking at their awake window, checking, do I need to kind of push them now a little bit more into, that next kind of awake period. Are they getting enough stimulation? So while they are awake, are they getting some stimulation? And if they're not, then maybe they are being put down to sleep too early. So, push it by 15-20 minutes and see if that makes a difference. But, as I say, don't stress. It will happen. It's, as I said, it's not that you're not doing a good job. It's, it's all about kind of managing your situation, because, as I said, there are guides out there and there's lots of great information out there, but every baby is really different. So I hope you found that useful. I'll be back on, won't be on tomorrow, I'll be back on Thursday, and we will be chatting about another sleep kind of topic that I'll focus on. But in the meantime, I hope you have a really good day and you enjoy this sunny Tuesday and you manage to get outside. Bye for now.